Good morning, good afternoon, good day, how you going? It's Roger Roadside here saying hello. Hello. Just pulling out of this nice little pub. Out in, where am I? Aylesbury Way, I want to say. Chesham, I think I'm at. But listen, it was just a quickie this morning. I don't know if you've seen, you probably have, but all this stuff that's going around in the US about ICE, and no, not the drug. Obviously the law enforcement mob who are in charge of deporting illegal aliens, and obviously the stink that has kicked up over there in regards to protesters. And I was listening to the radio today, and there was a very good call made by a gentleman. I can't remember his name, but he made a very good example of the fact that there's a difference between having a passion, and there's a difference between being aggressive and having aggression. And I think, going to a protest and protesting and doing what you can to try and get something changed that you believe is wrong or anything like that, 100%, that's showing a passion. But when you start actively, impeding law enforcement officers, whether they be the police, whether they be ICE, obviously over in America, whoever they may be, when you start impeding them from doing their job, especially when you're impeding someone who is combat trained and carrying weapons and has the authority to use force when they're being fought against, then I'm sorry, but you take that risk into your own hands. And I feel terrible for the people that have lost their lives when they've been doing this this protest against ICE and protesting against the the alleged people that they're getting rid of and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, I think there's a difference between being passionate about what you believe in, and you yourself being an aggressor. And if you're throwing rocks and bricks and projectiles at vehicles, ICE vehicles, as they're coming out, or if you're blockading those vehicles, if you're jumping on ICE members, and if you're attacking them, or if you're impeding them, you need to understand, and you need to recognize that they have that they're there to do a job, and they've also got their own rights to uphold as well. And whether you agree with what they're doing or not, it's just not worth, for me, it's just not worth it. It's not worth doing it. But I don't know, what are your thoughts on the matter? I mean, I was having a shower this morning. Yes, I do have a shower. For all those people that commented saying, "Oh, I bet he doesn't have a shower," and yes, I do have a shower. No one commented about that. I was just making that up. But I was listening this morning, and there was a really left-leaning person in the US talking about the atrocities that was going on in the States at the moment, and talking about saying that all the bad illegal aliens are all deported now. They're all gone, but now what's left with happening is with they're now taking mothers away from children and grandmothers away from children, and this, that, and the other. And the presenter went, yeah, but they're still illegal. They still broke into the country originally. And the left-leaning person was like, well, yeah, but it's still not right. And it just got me thinking, I don't understand this argument of people in the US, and because invariably this will potentially happen here in the UK. when and if we finally get anyone that's got any ounce of a backbone and any nous about them, this will eventually happen here. So we need to be ready for it, and we need to really fully understand, the reason why we do it. And look, no one ever likes making people upset. I don't ever want to see people upset, and if people have come over to gone over to the US and they've made a bit of a life for themselves over the last even, I don't know, 10, 15 years, 13 years, whatever the case may be, and then suddenly they're being dragged out of the country and deported back to their homeland. I get it. Like that's a pain in the ass, and it's sad, and it's terrible. I get it, but at the end of the day, you shouldn't have been there for the last 10, 15 years, and you committed a crime by illegally coming into the country. So, if we didn't extract them, if we didn't deport them, then you're basically setting a precedent that, you can commit any crime really, as long as you get away for it for, say more than a year or so, more than a couple of years maybe, then it should just be wiped. Well, so what? So I can just go out and, rape 10 donkeys and, as long as I hide away from the cops for a year or so, then that's fine. My record just gets wiped, and, maybe they finally catch up with me, and, because they start seeing some donkeys getting around with little Roger faces on the front, and they go, hang on a minute, you look like one of these bloody donkeys. This is a disgusting example, but you know what I mean. Like, we can't set a precedent that it's okay to do something illegal, providing that you didn't get caught within a certain period of time, and that's essentially what those over there in the US are protesting for. They're crying about the fact that people are having their lives uprooted and they're being sent back to their country with, against their wishes, when, they've been in the US for, X amount of years. And look, they always paint the picture that these people have been in the US for X amount of years and they've contributed and they've been a model citizen. I'm sure there are probably plenty, as there is here in the UK, I'm sure there's probably plenty of people that have come in here illegally that, we've gone, oh yeah, we need some diversity. Yeah, have a visa, or not even have a visa. Just, we won't follow you up because we've got no home office really, and there's no enforcement and stuff like that. So just, do what you want to do. Work illegally, whatever. Claim benefits. You want to claim benefits? Because we can give you a shitload of benefits. Is that really that at the end of the day, you're... And look, it's nothing against these people. I know the reasons they probably did what they did, because they wanted a better life, and I get that, and I get that it's shit that life is a game of luck. Sometimes you're lucky and you're born into the royal family, and everyone waits on your hand and foot, and money is never a problem, and so on and so forth. And sometimes you get born in a shit place, and in that shit place, where as you grow up is bloody tough, and there's no opportunities or very few opportunities, and it's really, really hard. And I get it. I get that that's really shit. But there are rules, and we have to have rules. If we don't have rules, then we live in anarchy, and if we go around going, oh my God, everything should be free, we all should just love each other. If I've got 10 rocks, then if you want a rock, I'll give you a rock, because I love you. And you want 2 rocks? Okay, have 2 rocks. Yeah. Oh, you want all 10 of my rocks? Okay, yeah, have all 10 of my rocks. Oh, you want me to go out and get some more rocks for you? Yes, of course I'll do that for you, because I love you, and you are welcome in my eyes. And here's some more rocks. Oh, you want to have sex with me? Oh, I don't want to have sex. No, but I will have sex with you because you are. I welcome you into my. Like, at the end of the day, we can't get without rules. Obviously it's just pure anarchy, isn't it? But anyway, look, long story short, I'll say this. I'm not a full expert in regards to the ICE situation that's happening in the US. I've seen snippets and I've seen some videos and I've seen some reports, and it's very difficult because you have various news outlets in the US that are either very strong right, very strong left, or, you know, this, that, and the other. So it's hard to sort of tell, you know, what is truly going on. I believe that there should be a task force created to extract and deport those who have come into the country illegally, regardless of how long they've been doing it. If they've been here for 2 weeks or if they've been here for 2 years, if they've been here for 20 years. I'm sorry, it's shit, I know, but you still broke the law. You still came in here illegally. There were various channels, you know, whether they be easy to do or hard to do, there were various channels that are open to go down and try to get, you know, either asylum or a visa to live and work in this country. And by you not doing it, you immediately tell me that you're a person that will break the rules in order to get what you want. And if that's the kind of person that you are, do I want to live in a society with that type of person? I don't care whether you're, you know, black, white, blue, yellow, red. I don't care if you're Christian, Catholic, Muslim, Protestant, Buddhist. I don't care whether you're straight, homosexual, bisexual, asexual. It doesn't matter. If you're the type of person that will break the law to get what you want, then I don't want to, you know, live in a society where you are. I just don't want to do that. I don't feel safe, because you will be the first one that, when you've got no money, that will break into my house, or, you know, do something else. I don't know, but does that make sense? That's my belief. I believe that there should be a task force extracting and deporting these people. Should they use excessive force when coming up against people who are trying to stop them from doing their job? I think that's potentially up for debate. I'm not sold on the fact that they should be able to do everything, you know, that they should be able to, you know, open fire on someone or use lethal force. I don't know to what extent they should have the right to do that. However, I also don't know the full extent of the hurdles that they're coming up against with these protesters, because these protesters, from some of the footage that I've seen, you know, are being extremely violent towards them and extremely antagonistic towards them. So therefore, you know, it's really hard. It's, you know, would you do that to the police if the police were trying to catch, you know, speeding vehicles on the motorway? Would you just park up and, you know, go and do a shit on their windscreen and expect just to be able to get away with it because you're just protesting? It's free speech. You know, I think some people protesting need to really fully understand the ramifications of what they're doing. If there are ways to protest, like that guy said on the radio this morning, there's a difference between having a passion and be passionate, and there's a difference between that and being aggressive and showing aggression. So anyway, listen, that's my thoughts on the situation. What do you think? Do you think that they're, you know, do you agree with ICE? Do you agree that it should be in play? Do you think the way that they're handling themselves and conducting themselves is appropriate? Yeah, list your thoughts down below in the comments. I am about to have a McDonald's. Yes, I am, because that's the way I roll. And listen, like and subscribe. I really like the support. I went live for the first time yesterday. That was good. Spoke to a few of the subscribers there. That was really good fun, and I really appreciate that. Obviously, like I said, I started this channel because I like the idea of going live and having chats and all that sort of stuff. But then as time went on, I swiftly realized that the difficulty I'm always going to face is I'm always out and about, and more often than not in the countryside and stuff like that. So reception is always going to be a bit dicey. So I still want to do the lives, but I'll probably have to do them at like a lunchtime or something when I'm you know, sat at a McDonald's or something like that. Maybe not in McDonald's, but you know, it's probably not going to be. I would have loved it to have been, you know, just having the phone on pretty much all day and driving around. But look, at the end of the day, I think the quality of the footage and all that sort of stuff is just going to be crap because the reception is going to cut in and out. But anyway, listen, like and subscribe. Love you long time. Love to hear your thoughts. Get them down below, and see you on the next one. Bye.